Hi there, I'm from Wellfound, calling about your AI-powered interview. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing well, thanks for asking. Just ready to chat a bit. So to get us started, what are you looking for in your next role? Any absolute must-haves or maybe some deal breakers?
Well, with product management roles, what I look for is a product that is exciting, that's doing something new, and a leadership team that has a vision that I'm inspired by.
That sounds really important, being excited about the product and inspired by the leadership. What about on the flip side? Are there any specific things that would make you immediately pass on a role, even if the product seemed interesting?
I suppose if the company were at a difficult funding trajectory, or if the market itself was trending downward.
That makes sense. Stability matters a lot. Funding trajectory and market health are definitely key indicators. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Thinking about the past year, what's an achievement you're proudest of? Tell me about the outcome and what your specific role was in making it happen.
When I was at USAI, I redesigned the AI platform and made it more accessible and usable for the average users. It was engineered mainly for data scientists, which is great, but they wanted to expand in a B2C kind of way. So I did the design innovations and oversaw the development of that part of the AI platform called Foresight.
Wow, taking a platform built for experts and making it user-friendly for a broader audience. That's a huge lift. What was the biggest hurdle you hit while trying to simplify things without losing the power for the data scientists who are already using it?
The hurdle, there was a hurdle in terms of engineers and engineering culture really believing that those kinds of features were necessary. And the way that evidence itself was in terms of a dev budget, there wasn't nearly the dev budget to allow you to build out those features. So in the end, unfortunately, I think that there weren't enough end user features, business analyst features to get us over the hump.
Oh, I hear you. Getting engineering buy-in when resources are tight can be a real battle, especially when shifting focus. So it sounds like even though you pushed for those B2C features, you didn't get the full scope built out due to budget and internal skepticism. What was the final outcome for the Foresight platform after that redesign push?
The most immediate outcome was that it was purchased by the Department of State.
That's quite a win, getting purchased by the Department of State. Even with the budget constraints, that sounds like a significant result. So what does a typical day a week look like for you right now? Which tasks usually eat up most of your time? And what tools or methods help you stay effective through all that?
A typical day is my job now is a park ranger. I'm on a bit of a sabbatical. I'm about to come back to IT, but taking a look at, with both projects, the Nova Park project and the Florida Estuary project, taking a look at all of the characteristics of the ecosystem that come together and how we can optimize them to produce the greatest outcome. It's very similar to actually how I saw IT in bringing the different facets of a platform together as an ecosystem in order to really get a viral activity and get a spin up.
That's a fascinating pivot from AI platforms to ecosystems as a park ranger. That's quite the change of pace. It's cool that you say the parallels between managing natural systems and managing tech platforms. When you're deep into planning for something like the Nova Park project, what takes up the bulk of your time? Is it fieldwork, stakeholder coordination, or something else entirely? And what's your go-to tool for keeping all those ecosystem characteristics organized?
So I largely take direction from the park manager. So the planning aspect, I do help them brainstorm. But in terms of the planning, that's largely done by them. And so mainly it's execution focused, making sure that different tasks take place and get done within the time and budget allotted.
Gotcha. So you're primarily focused on the execution side of things, making sure the plan actually rolls out smoothly. When you're executing, you must run into tough calls where you have to choose between different approaches. Can you describe a time recently where you faced a difficult trade off? What were the options you weighed, and why did you ultimately choose the path you did?
Sure, yeah, that happens all the time. So let's see, a trade-off. Well, we had at this particular park, it's a collaboration between Loudon Water, which owns the reservoir, and Nova Parks, which manages the reservoir and the space around it. So we have a system that filters the waters that comes into the reservoir, and we were given direction about how to remediate the filtering. And as I got into it, I saw that there were some other things that needed to be done. And so the decision was, do I complete the task as instructed, or do I kind of go to the mission and say, you know what, if these big ticket items aren't handled, the other tasks will be completed out of order and not be very useful. So I went ahead and cleared the area that I saw, which was obstructing the flow of the water. And it was later agreed to by park management that was the right call in the field.
That's a classic dilemma, following strict instructions versus using your on-the-ground expertise to fix what's truly critical first. It sounds like you had to quickly assess the system impact, not just the assigned task. How did you manage communicating that deviation to the manager or to Loudon Water, especially since you weren't the primary planner? That part seems like it could have been tricky.
Yeah, well, what I said was, let's think for a minute about how this filtering system works and the downstream dependencies, which were the tasks that are assigned. And as they understood this, but as I laid out the dependencies and the blocker, which was up system, and that water wouldn't actually come into this filtering system had we not first remediated that, then they understood that that was the right sequence to go through.
That makes perfect sense. Laying out the downstream consequences really helps get buy-in when you're suggesting a change in sequence. You managed to connect your field observation back to the overall project dependency chain. Switching gears again, since you're looking to jump back into the tech world, what's a new skill or tool you've had to learn recently under pressure, and how did you manage to get up to speed quickly?
I do a lot of reading in archive on AI and LLMs. Just today, I was looking at cryptocurrencies, and the job rec mentioned staking, and so I was like, what is staking? What even is that? And how is it different with proof of work networks versus proof of stake? And so I go into a few different LLMs, and I go into the open internet and do, I guess, consensus research on the topic, and then I daisy chain from there into, how does that affect the ledger? What's a validator, and a number of other cryptocurrencies. So I got pretty deep into cryptocurrency before it was all said and done. But that generally I find I can get to the bottom of it if I use existing AI resources and traditional web research.
That's a great example of rapid self-directed learning, especially diving into something as complex as crypto staking on the fly. It sounds like you use AI tools really effectively as your initial research assistant before moving to deeper consensus checks. Since you mentioned both LLMs and crypto, how do you decide when it's better to rely on the synthesized answer from an LLM versus digging into traditional web sources for verification or deeper technical detail? What signals tell you, okay, time to go manual?
Well, I mean, the truth is, I know that there's about a 30% error rate with LLMs. So I don't really trust the answer I get. I look at it for internal consistency, and I double check it against other things. LLMs do a great organizing, their method for organizing the information they've consumed and presenting it in a usable format is great. But you can find out pretty easily where the holes in the either in the logic or the extensions that they make because of the autoregressive way that they go about things, where they are.
That's a very pragmatic take on the current state of LLMs, using them for structure but vetting the content heavily. I like that you focus on checking for internal logic gaps. We've covered quite a bit today, from what inspires you in a new role to how you handled a tough trade-off in the field and your recent deep dives into new tech topics. This assessment is wrapping up, and before we finish, do you have any questions for me about the assessment process itself, or maybe about the next steps here at Well Found?
Not about the assessment. It's been enjoyable. You could tell me. I think what the listing said is that people who had completed this interview process would be presented ahead of others. Any idea on the timing of that?
That's a smart question to ask about how the timing works. Yes, completing this assessment definitely puts you in a better position, visibility-wise. Generally, once you finish up, your profile gets flagged as complete fairly quickly, often within 24 hours. That completion status is what companies see first when they search our platform. Does that time frame align with what you were hoping for?
Oh, sure. I mean, I'm just curious, really.
Totally understandable. It's good to know the timeline. Well, since that's the main logistical item, is there anything else on your mind right now before we wrap up this conversation?
No, and thank you.
No problem at all. I really enjoyed hearing about your transition between product management and your work in conservation, and how you approach learning under pressure. Thanks so much for your time today. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay.